Hello. Today we're going to be talking about acellular structures, another component of the virus infectious disease ontology. Uh, Now, some preliminaries are in order. The virus infectious disease ontology reuses terms from various OBO Foundry library ontologies where it can. In this talk, we're going to examine terms imported from the basic formal ontologies. This is top-level architecture any OBO and Foundry ontology is going to be using. We're also going to be talking about some terms from the Ontology of General Medical Science, a widely used ontology for medical science. In addition, we'll be discussing the infectious disease ontology. This is an ontology that covers terms that are used in investigations of infectious diseases, as well as the ontology of biomedical investigation, which covers terms that are used in biological or biomedical investigations. Here are some relationships. You can see there's some color coding over here, the red for BFO. There is green for the gene ontology, which I didn't mention, but it's worth, we'll talk about a little as well. Then OGMS, that's the general medical science ontology, is in gold here. Then IDO core, infectious disease ontology, and then OB, those are in different shades of blue. Start. And here, this is going to be our focus. Some terms here for, gold, red, blue, and blue, reflecting OGMS, BFO, the infectious disease ontology, and OBI. So first thing to note, it's worth pointing out that organisms are cellular. You'll see why in a minute. From OGMS, we import in the virus infectious disease ontology the term disorder, which is a material entity that's clinically abnormal, and it's part of an extended organism. Now, what is an extended organism? Well, look, it's a group or collection aggregate consisting of an organism and all the material entities located in it, overlapping it, or occupying sites formed by it. That's, lots of stuff potentially. Now, importantly, organism, what in the world is that? So look, the latter is defined in terms of this Ontology of Biomedical Investigations term, organism. This is an object that's an individual living system, such as an animal, plant, bacteria, or virus. Note the virus. It's capable of replicating or reproducing, etc. Look, the important part here for us is an organism, according to this definition, may be unicellular or made up, like humans, of many billions of cells. Look, object, as you see, this is a term that's imported from BFO, just basically signifies a sort of causal unity. But the important part for us is this cellular aspect. Again, organisms are cellular. And the claim that viruses are organisms. This cannot be the case. Viruses are not cellular. They are acellular. They are things that, in many cases, attack or attach or penetrate cellular things, but they themselves are not cellular. So some have suggested, some ontologists that is, that we should replace this definition, organism, with organism or virus or viroid, indicating the sort of difference between the entities involved. This term can be found in the Common Anatomy Reference Ontology. I say boo. Here's some issues. Look, disjunctive classes, like those classes involving or that way, suggest a closure over the class, which is something to be avoiding when classifying entities in the life sciences. We don't want to say, look, this class covers this or this or this. We might be wrong, right? There may be new things that we discover. New discoveries are made all the time. For a while, we didn't know about viruses, for instance. So look, here's another issue. Disjunctive classes like this, it lumps viruses and viroids in with paradigmatic living things. Guess what? This is a perennial intractable sort of question. Namely, the questions like, are viruses or viroids alive? What does life mean? What separates living from non-living things? These are fascinating. Don't get me wrong. I'm a philosopher. These are fascinating questions, but none of them need to be answered for the purposes of building an ontology that covers viruses. Ontologies are not going to settle these questions. They don't have to. And we should really avoid constructing classes that raise intractable questions we don't need to answer. It's going to be really hard to sell researchers on using an ontology where they've got like a term, or they have a term that suggests a question about life that they can't answer. And most people can't. And most people don't have a firm answer on it. Why even bring that up? Instead of doing that, we try to develop a different class. Look, we import organism, VIDO does, from OBI, but we just do not include viruses as a child class. Rather, VIDO introduces a class Acellular structure, which is an object consisting of an arrangement of interrelated acellular parts forming an acellular biological unit under which one finds instances of virus, viroid satellites, etc. Here we covered again disorder, object, acellular structure, organism, and a little brief gesture at virus, which will be the topic of another